Today we're looking at sex-linked traits. Your sex is determined by the chromosomes that you have. These chromosomes also contain certain traits that can lead to color blindness, baldness, and other such traits. Let's first take a look at what determines sex. Sex-linked traits. What determines sex in organisms? The 23rd pair of chromosomes determines sex, the X and Y chromosomes. Women have an XX, men have an XY. Since every trait is determined by your chromosomes, sex should be as well. In our sex chromosomes, the last ones are the X and Y. Males will have an X and Y chromosome, giving them the male sex organs. Females will have an X and X chromosome, giving them the female sex organs. Sex is determined by male. Mother can only donate X chromosomes. Male could give X or Y. If we look at this Punnett square, we notice that the female can only give the X chromosomes, whereas the male could give an X chromosome or a Y chromosome in the sperm. Because of this, sex is determined by the male, with the female gaining XX and the male gaining XY. Are there any traits that can be on these chromosomes? Yes, because the X is large, it can store other traits. However, the Y is too little to store traits. If we examine the chromosomes, we can see that the Y chromosome is actually much smaller than the X chromosome. This means that the X chromosome can carry it can carry certain traits, but the Y chromosome is too small, and therefore won't carry as many. Example, color blindness. Color blindness is a recessive trait on the X chromosome. Color blindness will always live on the X chromosome, never on the Y. Remember, it's too small. In people, we could have the normal vision allele, which is X big N, the colorblind allele, which is X little n, notice color blindness is recessive, or Y. Notice Y doesn't get a hat because it's too little. If we examine the chromosomes of a colorblind person, we notice that the X and Y chromosomes may appear normal in terms of creating sex. However, the information that they contain leads to color blindness or the inability to see color. The combinations you could have are this. A normal female could be X big N or X little n, making them heterozygous, or X big N, X big N. A colorblind female would be X little n, since it's the recessive trait, and the male would be X little n, Y. Y doesn't cover it up because it's too small. Color blindness is the trait where you're unable to tell colors, specifically reds and greens. Because of this defect, many people who are colorblind are unable to become pilots, drivers, etc. Some tips on the Punnett squares: do the X's and Y's first, then do the letters.